Cycle Frontier is filled with different items that might confuse you as a new player. You're probably thinking to yourself, should I keep this item? Should I sell it? Is it important for a mission? Am I going to need it later for a crafting recipe? If that's what you're wondering, then this video is for you. We're going to go over everything you need to know about what to keep, what to sell, and really what to do with everything you got. So before we start, make sure you like the video, subscribe, helps me out so much. Let's get into the video. First things first, let's talk about different ways you can understand if an item is important or if it's not important. Obviously, as you can see, there's epic and there's legendary. These tiers do mean something. Some of them should be in a higher tier, some of them should be in a lower tier, but we're gonna go over everything that you need to know. So first things first, the ores. There are a couple different ores in the game that you should keep, and these are really important in the early to mid game. So first we have Titan ore, nickel ore, we have focus crystals, we have Valecticite. Focus crystals and Titan ore are more important in the later mid game to later end game. So if you wanna keep those, if you wanna sell those, it's up to you. I sell them until I get to a mission that I see needs Titan ore or needs focus crystals, and then I start collecting them and start stacking them up. For nickel ore, which also includes altered nickel and Valecticite, and that also includes all of the different types of Valecticite because there's lots of them, I keep all of them. All of them are super important in different crafting recipes, especially altered nickel is super important in crafting a lot of early game stuff. Nickel is really important for upgrading your player quarters. Valecticite is also very important because there's a lot of different missions that require you to collect 10 things of Valecticite, 10 things of cloudy Valecticite. There's lots of missions for Valecticites and some crafting recipes that require them. So I would keep altered nickel, and all the different types of Valecticite because they are pretty important. Sure, they're common to get, but you use a lot of them. Next, let's go over some of the common items in the game that look like, you know what, they're not that rare, but you really should keep them because you use so much of each of them. So some of the more important items in the commons are these. You have aluminum scrap, personally decently hard to find, even though it is common. I don't find too much of it. I might just be unlucky, but I never sell aluminum scrap. Next, compound sheets. They're pretty easy to find. I usually keep 2 stacks of them, then I sell whatever's in the 3rd, 4th, 5th stack, etc. Cables, I usually sell if I have more than 2 stacks of them. Copper wire, again, I sell if there's more than 2 stacks of them. For almost all of the common stuff, I sell if there's more than 2 stacks of them. The only ones that I don't sell because I use them a lot are these. You need hardened metals for a ton of different recipes, so I would keep all the hardened metals you find. Old medicine is also very important because you use that to make syringes, and the syringes, you need a lot of them because if you die a lot, you probably need a good amount of them. So I would keep as much old medicine as you can find. Polymetallic prefabricate. Don't ever call it by its full name. Call it poly. It's called poly. We love poly. Poly is the way. I love poly so much. Poly super important, and you really need it. It's used for a lot of great crafting recipes like making armor, getting green armor consistently, getting different items consistently. So keep poly in your inventory. Rattler skin is very important as well because you need it for some crafting recipes. Salvaged insulation, I find that a lot, so I really don't bother keeping more than 2 stacks of it. Final bases are obviously very common. I don't keep more than 2 stacks of it. And again, if you're unsure of an item, check the tier list in the description. All the items should be there. And if you have a question, drop a comment down below and I'll be sure to answer you right away. Now for some of the harder items that you really should try to keep more of them than you sell, because these items are harder to find and you need them for a good amount of missions or crafting recipes. These include textiles. Textiles are one of those things that they say it's common, but they're not that common. You need a lot of it because it's used for a lot of good crafting recipes. So textiles are super important. We talked about aluminum scrap, super important. Now we're gonna get to the uncommon and common areas. These are super important. I still stay with the same laws of having 2 stacks is good enough. I don't like to have more than 2 stacks, then it gets too crowded. My stash is almost full. I'm already at 109 out of 115, so try to keep that stash to a good size. So some of the items that I like to keep more than I can sell include altered nickel. Obviously, altered nickel is important in crafting recipes. Try to keep as much of those as possible. Bright cap mushrooms, super important for the medics, for stims, stuff like that. Again, if you die a lot or if you don't die a lot, you want to have as many stims as possible, so you want to keep those bright cap mushrooms. Titan ore, I am getting into the more more mid-game, so I'm trying to keep a little bit more because I know Ore Lab's going to give me some missions to hand in some Titan ore, and I want to hand that in right away. Circuit boards, I don't find too much circuit boards, so I like to keep 2 stacks of them. As you see, I still haven't found 2 stacks full, and I haven't sold any, so they're decently hard to find, and you do use them for some later quest items, so I would make sure to keep them. Optic glass, you use for a lot of missions. There's lots of jobs, there's lots of scopes that need optic glass. Optic glass is one of those items that I would never ever sell, because if I sell it, I'll probably need it for a job or something like that, so I would try to keep it as much as you can. For the rest of these items, radio equipment, we have rattler eyes, we have resin guns, flesh, water weed filaments. Now for these other items that, again, you want 2 stacks of them. Radio equipment is decently easy to find if you go to certain areas like the uplink stations. Resin guns, I never sell. I think they're hard to find. I never sell them. Water weed filaments, they're pretty easy to find. You can sell them if you want. Not much profit, but go for it if you want to. Now let's get into the items that you really never want to sell. You never want to sell these items. Basically, the higher the rarity goes, the more you don't want to sell them. So as you see, the highest rarity thing I have is a Strider head. I didn't even know you could get this. Honestly, don't know what it does. Looks pretty cool. I'm not selling it. Meteor cores are one of those things that you could sell them because they can give you a pretty chunk of change. But if you're getting more to that mid-game action, you want to start keeping them because you're going to get missions very, very soon to hand some of these in, and they can be pretty hard to find, so I would not sell them. I never sell them personally. They're very, very, very good to keep. You also use a lot of meteor cores in the end game supplies, so you need like 25 meteor cores to craft one of the legendary guns, and trust me, you don't want to have 0 when you have to get that gun. You want to start at least something higher. Now for all of the blue items, the ones that I think are the most important are Zero System CPU, you have the Kotek multi-tool, and you have the biological sampler. These are the 3 that I use in the most crafting recipes. If it's either for guns, if it's either to repair something, making guns, making equipment, making armor, you need these items, and I would not sell them at any point. Again, there is a tier list down below, so if there's some items that you're not sure about, look at the tier list or comment down below. I'll be happy to help you. And if you don't know how much to keep of a certain item, I'm gonna scroll through my inventory, and this is what yours should regularly look like. I am stashing a good amount of manticores right now, just because I don't have them unlocked right now, and I've had a couple kills on kids that had manticores. For the ammo types, I recommend keeping as much heavy ammo as you can. It's pretty expensive, and I don't like buying it, so I just like stashing it. I usually only take like 25 into a raid at a time, so that's why I just have too much at this point. Honestly, I like hoarding. I'll be honest, I love hoarding, so that's what I do. That's how much I keep. Assault rifle ammo is the same. I take a lot into a raid. I take about 750 into a raid, so I like to keep a lot of that. I don't have too much right now, but I like to keep a good amount on me. Green armor, I like to stack up. Once I have at least 6 shield and 6 helmets of green armor, I'm gonna sell all my white because I won't need it anymore. And now for all of my inventory, you can look at what I have. I've gone through, sold what I needed to, but this is what I usually need for crafting recipes and such. That's really it for the video. Use the tier list down below. If you have any confusion, feel free to comment down below. Join my Discord, ask me questions in there. So if you've got this far, thank you for watching the video. Comment down below, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuce.